Govs Radio.
This is the Wort on Govs Radio.
And we're back. We took down our YouTube stream because we're having technical issues with the streaming speed of our internet, apparently. I know people that were watching on the YouTube stream, they were complaining that the audio was a little garbled and the video was here and there. We did put up a couple of logos and more data to go out through the stream, and that's probably what bogged it down as well. And I probably should take out my flash drive because that's usually what slows everything down is a freaking 1.0 flash drive. Whenever I do things, it's just terrible. So we're back here. We're here sitting in with Sarah and Mike and their buddy Chris, and we're going to drink some beer.
Hell yeah.
Beer o'clock.
What's that?
Beer o'clock.
It is beer o'clock. And what are we going to try first today, Sarah?
All right, so first we are going to have our Krieger Weiss, which is a Berliner Weiss.
I thought we were done with all the cursing.
Say that 3 times fast.
Berliner.
Berliner Weiss.
So tell us about the style and what it includes and the process with that.
Right, so...
that is light in color.
Oh, yes, straw, very light. Yeah, so this is a traditional style originated in Germany. It was particularly popular in Berlin, hence Berliner Weiss. So this is a kettle sour. So essentially what happens is you start off, you got all your grains going, and you come to a boil, and then you cool down and you inoculate your batch with a couple of strains of bacteria. You got lacto and sac and a couple other strains. We took a yogurt culture like straight up from like the store and we soured it overnight. So it goes overnight or as long as you want really until it comes down to the proper pH and you feel like it's time to proceed. And then you bring it back to a boil again and you continue on and you finish out the brew. So what you're left with is a really light, tart, refreshing, low in ABV beer. So this is like a good all-day drinker. Good way to get started.
Crushable, is that the term the kids are
Crushable,
using?
yes.
Sessionable.
Sessionable. But it's
I like-
not really
I like
good.
Sunday
Sessionable.
morningable. That's what I
Yes.
like to
Well,
say.
yeah, I mean-
Sunday morningable.
Beer for breakfast.
Beer
Of
for
course,
breakfast,
always.
yeah. It's going to be a little...
Why
At
wouldn't
the
you?
brewery, we have the Woodruff syrup to put at the bottom of the glass before you pour it.
Ah.
Yeah, well, because in Berlin, like you have the option to go mit Schuss,
Okay.
which is with,
Sure.
with syrup. Mit Schuss.
That's the way I like it, baby.
Yes, yeah. And then-
Unexplainable.
That's
That's
right.
right. That's right. Well, it's funny. Like
I don't know
so,
what she said to me, but it was sexy.
Can she say it again? No, but yeah. Well, and it's funny because we people were asking like, "Yo, you gonna do a green beer for St. Patty's Day?" And we're like, yeah, I think we're gonna have green beer because the Woodruff syrup that you put in one of the syrups that's an option. It's distilled from the Woodruff herb, so it's a green, a very bright, vibrant green syrup. And it's
Waldmeister.
yes,
okay.
Waldmeister. And so you put a shot at that on the bottom. We have like little squeezy guys, and you can do that, or you can do a raspberry syrup because they do that both ways in Berlin. That's the two most popular ways.
And so what's the flavor of the herb?
Well,
what is it
you
like?
don't get a lot of it. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know how actual.
It's actually it's a flavored herb that I've never tasted other than in that syrup.
Oh, okay. So you probably it's not something
Woodruff
you're going to see in
itself, I've never tasted anywhere else but that syrup.
huh.
Yeah. And it's very distinctive. As soon as you taste
You
it,
know
it's
it's something different,
Oh,
yeah.
it's something that your palate's never put down before. And I'm telling you.
It's just you're never going to see it.
I
It's
just
unexpected.
happened to have two with them at the brewery earlier.
I was gonna bring them, but I'm like, it's sticky.
I was
it's
gonna
syrup,
work
it's
there, but
messy.
Nah.
I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
Probably for the
confusing.
best, the audio.
Well, they
quality.
just had put up these signs, and I don't think it was talking to me since I'm very responsible, but they're like screaming at people now about bringing stuff in, and I don't care. I'm going to do what I do anyway. It's a beer show. How can I not have liquids on the thing? But to put the syrups and sticky stuff on there, I think we can.
What I
Yeah.
think
We
he's
can pass
saying
on that
is
one.
don't spill
No,
anything.
no, not at
No,
all.
there'll be no spilling.
I don't mean
No
you
spillage.
should. I just mean I'm not saying it to bring it up. I'm just saying it because I'd rather not the sticky stuff. This I can get rid of. Cheers.
So this is cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
All right.
Clink,
Clink.
clink, 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 clink. Almost.
Oh.
There we go.
All right. Well, there's 30 seconds of dead air of us drinking. Here we go. What does it sound like to drink beer?
Refreshing.
Yes, refreshing.
is.
That's a good word.
That is very good.
It's little tart, like you said.
A little sweet.
Yeah.
A little natural sweetness.
And
This
I like
comes
the
in-
dryness. The
Yeah.
back end dry. That's nice.
And it comes at 4%. Traditionally, the style can be like usually in the 3% range, but
But you upped it. What does it take to get from 3 to 4?
It's just a matter of more grains.
More, just adding. Could you pack it out and like really even get it up to a 7 or an 8?
I mean, you could, but like it wouldn't be appropriate for the style. Like, it would just be like, why though? You know?
Why are you doing that? Well, to
You're
get
just
hammered,
doing
but-
it, get having. And if that's what our game is here, then we're not in the right place.
Yeah. No,
No,
well,
it's
I'm
a-
here for the flavors.
You want to get to the point where it's tasty and drinkable and not really just kill everyone that walks in the door.
yeah, and it's funny because like this style in particular, like it was more available in Germany, and like America sort of took it over. Like there's not that many. You're not really going to find a Berliner Weiss on the island. There's not many breweries don't make the style, and it's actually one of my husband Tim's favorite styles. And what's actually he brewed it as a nod to his German heritage because he's half German and half Irish.
Oh, there you go.
And Krieger is actually his mother's maiden name. It
Oh,
means
really? Yeah.
Soldier in German is Krieger Weiss, and then. As Pete actually got to have when he came to the brewery, there's Blitzkrieger, and Blitzkrieger.
I did see that, yes, on the board. He
that's
sent me
our-
the picture. I
our
think it was-
blue beer, which is just it's the Krieger Weiss added with blueberry puree in it, and man, that was a hit. people like that beer.
Did that last?
No,
it
it
gone?
didn't last.
Yeah.
That's gone.
That's
That
it.
is-
That's
Oh, really?
Again,
And
I'm a
gone.
dark beer drinker,
Mm-hmm.
but the fruitiness of that beer,
Very tart.
oh, it was
good
perfect.
stuff.
It was delicious
just so
and
pretty.
drinkable
Yep.
and purple and. I felt very manly sucking that fruity beer down.
I just let it drip down my beard.
Yeah,
shirt.
I just filled myself up with it.
But yeah, no, and then, it's so nice, easy, crushable. And
Have you guys done any beer dinners? Anything like a pairing?
We have. We've done actually. We've had the pleasure of doing that a few times. Like we're foodies, Like I just you know what's good, and
I'm a
and
fat guy. I hate food.
no matter what size you're a fat kid at heart, like we the first one we did, I know them all because it's very exciting. So like we did. There's Relish in Kings Park. I don't know if you guys are familiar. It's
Where
in Kings Park, right on Main Street.
okay, yeah, I've probably seen it.
Yeah, it used to be a
I
diner.
haven't eaten there, but okay,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I know which one it is. I
Yeah.
know which one it is. Yep.
Now it's sort of like elevated diner food, but and that's to do it at a service. It's an amazing
Right,
place.
it's a restaurant.
Yeah, so we had done a small, like almost like a tapas and TBC
okay,
pairing.
yeah.
This was sort of when we were in the Farmingdale location. So like it was one of the ways to sort of connect with our user base because our client base, I suppose.
Yeah, no, no.
User base. You
User
went
base. Sorry.
you went IT there for
I'm
a
sorry,
second.
I know. It's like it's still. I'm like, oh, come on, speak it right, girl. So it was wonderful, and it was like the first foray into it, and then we did a beer and cheese pairing, which was exciting, and we actually paired with these ladies Slates and Plates, and they do it's the plate or the it's not just cheese. It's a whole bite design. Like one of the pairings was like a shortbread cookie with a brie and like a spicy jelly on top, and it was it was perfectly paired with the beers. Like we set it up beforehand and all
Right.
that. So that was really exciting. And then the fanciest pairing that we've done is we were lucky enough to participate in this event called the Island to Table event. It happens in Patchogue, and it's a charity, and it benefits this homegrown change, which is it's an organization that goes into like schools and other places in impoverished areas on the island, and it teaches them how to grow sustainable Long
Yeah.
Island crops and just educate people about kind of like sort of the idea of grow food, not lawns, so to
Right,
speak.
right.
That whole thing. Just
It
trying
would
to be the
drive down
change.
property values if everyone had just tomato plants outside their front
Yeah,
yard,
I
but
have
it
them.
still would be delicious.
It would be delicious.
Grab
but,
anything you want.
Yeah, but that was super fancy. That was all like Long Island chefs using Long Island ingredients paired
Which
with
place
Long
was it
Island beer.
in Patchogue?
It was right. That arts building.
Yes.
Yeah, it was right on the street. They closed the street
Oh,
down in
okay.
front of it, and they did like
Did you
long
see,
tables.
and not to change the subject, but I just was out there.
Yeah.
They're doing the Patchogue Beer Project. Do you know much about
I
it?
don't know much about it.
Is
I
it going to
know
be a
my-
collective? I can't figure any
No.
information out.
No, it's a
just
privately
an
owned
anti-
brewery.
Private-
Yep. No, that's the no.
The beer project on the
Yeah,
other
no,
side,
that's
yeah.
I believe one of the partners is Mike Philbrick from Port Jeff.
Okay.
So I don't. I'm not really sure into what capacity.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I
not
can't
sure.
find any information. I
They're
stopped
coming
by, I
soon.
looked around.
I
Yeah.
know they're in planning. I
They
may
got the
have heard
machinery
a whisper
in.
that there was maybe a hiccup as far as a delay on an opening, but because and I get that. I mean, like we know everything about that. Like when you go through the process of trying to open up a brewery on Long Island, it is a marathon.
Everything
it is
can go
not
wrong.
a sprint. Everything that can go wrong will go
Yeah.
wrong, and it's like you hear the horror stories, and and I'm sure it's across the industry. I mean, I don't know, or maybe it's just unique to Long Island. Who knows? But yeah, so that doesn't surprise me. But yeah, that's coming up too, and then Blue Point, it'll be right block
moving
away
across the street.
and their new thing. Yeah.
So this was delicious.
Yes, let's open another one.
Ooh. We're gonna rapid fire. I like it.
Do it.
Yeah, get it done.
We don't play at TBC, okay? All right.
Go
so
big or go home.
That's right. So I mean, you don't want me to do like separate glasses and stuff, right? Okay.
Oh, no.
All right, cool.
No, that's
I'm so spoiled by the tasting room. Like we have like the glass washer, whatever.
Yeah,
What's
just-
the
Those are
formal name
cool.
for it? Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
We can't.
I don't know.
No.
One of my regulars calls it, the bidet. I'm like, oh,
Yes.
that's nice.
Ah,
That's,
the
that's good
bidet.
imagery. So
Love
now
it.
every time that you'll see when I wash a glass, that's what I'm thinking of. So now you'll know. Now everyone knows. Yeah, sorry.
Anyone that doesn't know what the hell she's talking about, you put the
What's the
glass
bidet?
upside down, you push it, and spray comes up and cleans your glassware.
Like instantly, it's lovely.
Just like a bidet.
Just like a bidet, all day. All right.
So what are we having this time?
Right. So now we have. This is our. I think I poured an extra one. No.
No, I think one's mine.
Nope, that was his.
Oh, then that's not enough. Hold
You
on.
got another hazy?
We have another hazy. I guess I was pouring.
It's a great sound.
Yeah, we really have to isolate that and stick it on
Yes.
this. Right now, whenever someone says the word "wort," this is what we get.
I'm so sick of that
Nice.
sound effect.
I know.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I have no problem with guns.
Oh God! Don't get him started. Oh no. There it is.
So
Oh,
cheesy.
okay.
No.
So
that's-
cheesy.
It is cheesy because it was pre-programmed into a system that's all over the country and every radio station. So that's kind of all we have. But I want to get the can opener somewhere in there. The other one we use sometimes is this. Nope, not that.
Dead air.
That's
Yep,
the
a lot of
dead air
that.
button.
No,
Yeah.
no, no.
Dead air
I
button.
don't know.
There's a cheese and a large soda. That's $10,012. Please.
Yeah, no, that's not it.
That's terrible.
Yeah, this.
From the top of the Empire State Building,
What?
Fucking Z100.
Oh my God! It's been a while.
Smells here.
this is Mulrooney in the Morning.
Nope, that's not it
Nope,
either.
that's definitely
That's a
not
whole nother show that used to be here. Oh, I know which one we used when I was talking to Nick. And we unleashed the he officially got the crown for going to every Queens brewery.
it. Ah.
Oh really?
Yeah,
That's
he's been
no
to
small
every
feat.
no. He lives in Queens, so it helps.
Well,
But he's been to every Queens brewery now officially, and he just went to McKellar last week. So he's now every time a new brewery opens, he's got to rush there for their opening and get in there.
I'm trying to go. Like I'm so embarrassed to even say I've never been to a single one
Me
in
neither.
Queens. Yeah, I haven't been to the Long Island City breweries either. And
Tommy
I
gun.
decided for my birthday this year, I'm like,
It's
I'm
actually
gonna
a
do a whole
mini,
day. I'm just gonna do them all.
AK-47
Oh, and they put
with
the
a 100 round
yeah.
drum
The
on.
barrel.
That's awesome.
That's
It's like
Sarah.
Tommy
That's
gun.
Sarah
Why is it gotta
unleashing
be
it.
my picture? Come on now.
Because you're
I don't
shooting
know
off
what he's
some
talking
rounds.
about. That was just my body double. That wasn't actually me.
That's not you.
I don't believe you still have that phrase.
Of course I have this.
Awesome.
Well, now
It's
you
in my
know.
TBC files.
We're looking at a video clip of Sarah shooting off some rounds in a field at a range.
Well,
Shots fired.
And
Shots
actually,
fired.
shots fired. And you can actually see the target that we use because it's on display in the tasting room.
Nice,
The
there you
keg.
go.
It's a keg.
It sounded a
It's
little like
Coors-
this.
Coors Light
A
cake?
little bit.
There
Yeah, it's a
you go.
Coors Light keg. It is.
That's appropriate, and I approve.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
We like to say, as we were saying that day, all day, Big Beer didn't have a chance.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
yeah.
That's right.
Up against the 4570,
That's
it took
right.
it right out.
That was the end of that.
Good times.
So what are we having this
yes,
time around?
So here
Sorry.
we go. So now we have our one of our newer IPAs. It's called Hazy Worker. The reason why it's called Hazy Worker, it's based off of our pale ale, proletariat pale ale, proletariat. You know, because it's proletariat. You know, the workers' man, and we wanted to. It's much of the same malt base.
Okay.
We did dry hop this one a bit. It's a nod to the New England style as far as the hops that are utilized and some of the flavors that are imparted.
So what do we got for the hop?
So the hops in this one we have. So we're a farm brewery. I don't think I mentioned that
No,
before.
no.
So that distinction is when we decided to get into this, we looked at all the different
There's
licenses.
different
that were-
license, right?
Yeah, there are, and there's all different
That's-
ones
they're
available.
promoting. I know they're promoting that one a lot.
Oh, they sure are. Yeah, well, Cuomo actually put it enacted it. He signed the farm brewer license edict or whatever a couple years back. I think in 2014, 15 maybe. And yeah, so basically, you're a brewer, you have your license, but it costs a little bit less. There are perks as far as like you can open up like satellite tasting rooms, and you can serve all New York State producers produced wine and spirits because it's
Without a
it's,
separate licensing.
without a separate licensing.
Okay.
And it's just so the idea of it being a farmer's license is that you need to utilize at least 20% of all New York State grown this year hops and malts, and in the first few years it's just 20%.
20% of what you make?
Every time we do a batch of beer, 20% of the malts that we use and 20% of the hops that we use need to be sourced from New York State.
Is that difficult at all?
Of the
It is
adjuncts.
difficult.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I mean, well, and when
Everything.
you're a
Yeah.
smaller brewery, you're not buying in bulk. You're buying in bulk.
So
of
it's more
course.
costly.
It's more costly because think about it. Like you're buying a good local product. It's never their costs are always going to be higher,
Sure.
and all that. So yes, it is more. And then
That makes sense. Most
yeah.
small shops,
But
if you go into
it
a
keeps
town.
it local.
Right.
it sure
Right.
does. Well,
They
and
want
that
what
was-
Cuomo wanted to do is
And
keep
now
everything in
it's
the.
Yes.
from the farm to the beer.
Yeah, well, it's nice, and so Cuomo, because New York historically was
Huge hop producing
huge
state.
hop producing
Yeah.
state, and it has a really rich history in that. And it used to, had amazing amounts of breweries and everything, and wanted to.
Prohibition.
I know, man. That and then the prohibition, and there was a blight as well, and it just was like
That
the
was
perfect
good for
storm.
the
and got that
gangsters. Who
shit
you
worked.
kidding?
Yeah, well.
Speaking of
But,
Tommy guns.
Why does
Where do you
everything
think
keep
I
coming
got
back to
some of
guns? Oh man. Yeah. There we go. There it is. Yeah. So so you use 20%, and the idea is that now there's all these malt houses and hop farms that have popped around all over the state of New York, and it's going to be it's a phased license. So starting next year, we'll need to use 60% of
Jesus.
all our malts and our hops. Yeah, you can hold multiple licenses. So if you don't think that you could get access to it, that sort of thing. But yeah, we've loved being farm brewers. It's really good. So, but to my point, so we use New York State Cascade hops. We use New Zealand Rakow hops. Yeah, New Zealand hops are awesome. We're completely in love with this particular hop. We use it in a lot of our brews. Somewhat underappreciated. It's not like the new hot hop, although there is Citra in this. We did dry hop this with Citra.
There's no mosaic. Oh my God!
There's no
How come
mosaic. No, none of that. But yeah, no, it's just and it's nice. It's not a double IPA. It's 6%. It's so you get that flavors, but you're not going to be put out. Some of them,
Well, if you drink enough of it, you will.
Well, yeah, you get a little hazy.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Oh, sorry. I drank mine already.
Yeah, yours is gone.
It
I
didn't
have
stand
a
a chance.
problem.
Didn't stand a chance.
It's called
this
good
got a little
beer.
bit
Yeah, it's,
warm,
it's
so
called delicious beer.
we're-
Why, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's very good.
Thanks. Yeah, it's just our
Classic.
Yeah, it's we aim to please. It's when you're drinking beers, we typically do balanced beers. We do some higher ABV beers, but you'll notice on our board that typically we keep our beers between 5% and 6%.
Yeah.
Because it's you don't want to be knocked out after
I
two.
don't want to send people home drunk.
No,
Yeah, no,
not
I
I
really.
want
Sure,
them to
sure.
come and enjoy.
Well,
a good
come and hang
beer.
out. That's why we have stuff
Yeah.
for you to do when you get
Right.
there. Like,
Right.
hey, come listen to this band or paint some.
You want to hang out for a while? Yeah, they can have one or two beers at 8%
yeah.
and go home and go to sleep, or
Exactly.
get too inebriated to even have a good time.
Yeah, no, I know. It's
You can get
Yeah.
too drunk to have a good time.
It's possible.
It's when you
I did that in
forget.
wine country. You drank too much
Nice.
wine to have. a
I
good
just
time.
did
Yeah.
that at Busch Gardens on Tuesday.
Oh, I love the Busch Gardens
Oh,
for that
man,
reason
that was
alone.
Oh,
that was
boy.
a great day. Let me tell
What the
you.
hell did I drink when I was in Busch Gardens?
Epcot
I
was
tried to find-
Everything.
another time. I had to be taken out at 2:30 and taken for a nap. So, yeah, that world it kills you every
It's
time you go
great.
around in circles.
I was there for the beer and wine festival.
Really?
And that was
that's
fun.
on my bucket list.
I
because-
went for
Oh,
the
man.
Arbor Festival.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it was really pretty.
When you came out from under, it's pretty-
Well, the alcohol made
we're
it
we're
so
like a
much
fucking
prettier.
nor'easter, and I'm watching his pictures of all the flowers. I'm like, yeah, how nice.
It was
it's
beautiful.
much
Yeah.
more beautiful with a few beers in it.
Oh
It
yeah.
is.
When you come out from underneath the globe and you start hitting the water of the big circle,
Germany
the
had this
first two
pineapple.
places.
Oh, Mexico. And
No,
Canada.
not even the states, not even the countries. There is now two little veer-offs. Like you can go straight and you hit the lake and you go around the world. And then there's two little veer-offs that take you a little further down. And they're now craft beer houses.
On the corners.
On the corners.
Yes.
And now they bring in Florida local people,
Yes.
and it's
All
almost
Florida locals.
like a Hoptron
Except-
sitting in the middle of
Except
Epcot.
the one picture I took was very disturbing, and I'm going to say it.
What was Mickey doing?
Drinking a toasted lager.
They had Blue Point?
All over the place.
Oh no, yeah, it's
Yeah.
national.
Well,
now.
Yeah.
That's what you get for millions of dollars when you sell out.
Yeah, that's what
Can't blame them.
I still like it. I like toasted lager.
Occasionally, I could. I
Is
actually
that
had.
upsetting? I'm sorry.
No, it's not upsetting at all.
No, not at all.
Grew up here with it, so
Yeah.
It's
in
not
the
bad
roots.
at all.
Dude,
You know what I
who
had?
didn't? If you're from Long Island and you didn't grow up with it, like,
Or you
hey,
didn't
young
drink
us,
it?
Absolutely.
but,
Crazy if not to
On
have
Long
it.
Island, that's one of the first craft beers
yeah,
you
dude,
can have.
like,
You know.
respect. Like,
Yeah.
no, it is. Ooh,
I
we got phone
think
calls.
we might be getting a phone call in
my-
here.
oh my
We'll take it
goodness.
live to the air. This is the Wort with Mike and Pete. Who am I speaking to?
Michael,
Who is this?
I got a way we can promote the Pete and the Penis show
Oh,
with the
you're a
work.
dick. Ladies and gentlemen, wait. Let me introduce you. Shut up. Let me introduce.
Time.
Let me introduce to you
What do you
the
mean,
man.
Pete? I got
Whoa!
one
Shut up.
week.
The man, the myth, the legend, Anthony Graziaday. Graz, what do you have to say for us? Graz is the host of Limo Talk here at Govs Radio. He also likes to be part of every single minute of on live
Pseudo-station
broadcasting.
manager. I don't know.
Yeah, he does everything, but he's right
Come
now.
on, Michael.
I
I've
love.
been drinking. I figured it out. I got a way to promote the work.
All right,
with
go ahead.
Pete and the Penis.
Let's hear your idea. Go ahead.
Serialize the work condoms.
Serialize the Wort condoms. What do you mean, like make a
Put the
cereal
word-
like Lucky Charms?
Put a slogan on the condom, the word. So you get a boner and a beer.
Okay, so anyway, we were going
right.
back to.
That might say that the Wort is tainted.
Yes.
What do you mean?
The Wort should not get filled with anything
that's-
other than beer.
The bigger it gets, the slogan gets bigger, and it's sometimes probably going to be gray or white. It gets a little background.
It's going to
You know
be
what I mean?
hidden the whole time.
You would hope
would
it gets
hope.
hit.
Unless you're playing with it yourself. What are you doing?
Unless you hope. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, buddy.
hope.
Hey, listen, have you prepared anything for Friday's stand-up?
I haven't done a fucking minute.
This is going to be fantastic, let me tell you.
It's going to be a disaster. My wife doesn't even want to come.
Well,
No way.
I advised my wife to stay home, and I think that was for the best.
Yes. Are you getting on the bus?
I'm getting on the bus. We have a bang bus, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's going to be like four
Where-
dudes in a bang bus. Yeah, what's up?
What brewery we going to next? Which one we're talking to tonight?
Well,
I'm
how
sorry,
much time?
I'm-
Well, that's a great question. How much time do we have between getting picked up in Farmingdale and having to be over to this television studio?
2 hours and 15 minutes.
In rush hour traffic on a Friday to New York City? I don't think we're going to have much time to stop out here.
So wait a minute. No, we won't. We're just going to start in Farmingdale.
Right.
And we're going to pick up B-Mel.
Yep.
Then we're going to pick up Inns, and we're going to the studio.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll do scheduling later. Call in at the 10:30 hour.
I
We'll get the Uber times out, and we'll get the. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say the word. We'll get the Waze stop times out, the destinations, and we'll work it all out.
Can I ask what brewery was with you tonight? Oh Lord!
You haven't been listening this entire time?
Not 1 minute.
All right. We have Sour from the Brewers Collective. They're in Bayshore. They're one of the four that you probably heard from Dan when you talked to Dan about the Bayshore breweries. They are one of
Yes.
them. And Sarah's here, and Mike is here.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Good. How
What's
you
up?
doing?
I've been drinking a little bit. I apologize.
That's all right.
so have I.
We've been drinking too, so welcome to the party.
That's part of what our show is all about. So I'm.
They said a beer podcast. What else are you
Could
gonna
you
do?
actually? Yeah. Could you actually say that you did some pre-production before my show today?
I actually did.
There you go. Because you never do pre-production for your own show, so that works
I
out
was
well.
at Crocs. Shut up, Michael. I'm talking.
You're at
was
Croxley's?
Croxley's, and I had a. What was that one I liked the other day, Michael?
The one I got you?
Yeah, no, the other one from something at the sea. What was it?
The sea.
The Special by the Sea. You remember?
You're a
Was it-
special
it
by
was,
the sea. No, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not quite sure. Did we have it on Thursday night?
Yes. What did you have on Thursday night?
It was Sand City I brought Thursday.
All right. What's the specialty for the collection place that's in our studio today?
Well, we just drank. The first one was Berliner Weiss, and it was a low alcohol content, but very, very delicious, dry, fruity, sour, very light in color beer. And now we're on to the New England-based profile of hops, and it's an IPA coming in around the 6%.
Wow. Do you guys make a stout?
Hell yeah, that's at the end. That's called the Duke. It's coming up
Oh,
last.
that's awesome.
We make several stouts though.
What's the alcohol content on the stout, and what does it taste like? Does it have like
It's a-
chocolate morsels in it and stuff?
It's a bourbon barrel aged stout with chocolate, toasted coconut, and vanilla beans. And it comes in at a 9%.
You missed out on coming tonight, buddy.
And again, I
Can I
said
get a keg?
bourbon barrel aged.
We're actually bringing all our kegs up to Tap New York for a competition.
Oh
so
yeah, that's
yes.
one I would submit. Jesus,
It's happening. Wait till
That's
we
a
get to
lot
it.
of-
I'm saving it for the land because it's you know.
Can I get a mini keg for the Bang Bus?
Ooh, I like where your head's at. All right, I got to go. I'm going to tell them a little bit about what we're going to be doing on Friday. Buddy, I'll talk to you on Thursday for your show. I'll give you a call. And the day before Doomsday for Limo Talk.
Pete,
I'll see you at the PTA meeting, Grass.
I love you, Pete.
Good to talk to you, buddy.
Stay well. Limo talk. Resident.
Yeah. Later, buddy. So that's Anthony Graziaday from Limo Talk, one of the founding podcasts here at govsradio.com. He calls into our show at least once a time. And what most of that was about, we were kind of roped into doing stand-up comedy since we're in a comedy store. There's a gentleman that comes on our show that is doing it's a Brooklyn public access comedy show that airs like once a month.
Awesome.
And so he kind of dared the 5 members of our show to get up and do 5 minutes. And it was in support of another guy, Bobby, who's we all think is going to be a good stand-up at one point or other. So we're all going to get up and do 5 minutes. And we came in Thursday and did a show.
Can I come throw eggs?
I'd rather not get eggs thrown on me.
Hey,
Well,
Hard boiled, though. I'll catch him and I'll just write it there.
But I mean, for Graz's set.
Well, for Graz's sake,
Yeah.
you ready for this, Pete? This is going to get you. Graz is bringing a puppet.
I
He's
have
going
no
to do
words.
ventriloquism.
Is
which,
it a condom with your name on?
No, but he's going
Hi,
to slip the
fellas.
whole thing in there. And
Is it one of those like puppets where they bring to say to the kids like,
It
now
looks-
where did they touch you? Is it?
no.
Is it
Show me
circled
on
in
the
the areas?
puppet. He's got what looks like Cookie Monster, but with green hair.
Oh, I think I saw it on his
Instagram. Yeah, some
that's
point or-
very
yeah.
off-putting.
Yeah, well, and he's going to do some very bad stuff with that thing, so that's going to be interesting. So now I have to get up and do what amounts to 5 minutes of comedy that I've never done stand-up comedy.
You've
so
never done a set? This is your first set?
I've
Holy
never done stand-up comedy.
That's going to be the best.
Dude, that's
It's
awesome.
going to be awesome.
Honestly,
It's gonna be
you
awesome.
go
gotta
up
watch
there and
that,
say, yo, you.
Yeah.
I don't think everyone will appreciate, but
How many
Did you watch
beers?
the show on
Get
on
hammered.
HBO? The
yeah,
I'm
so
Dying
that's
Up
good.
Here, the comedy
oh
show?
yeah. The whole
Just live it,
opening
man.
thing
Do
was
that.
from
Be a Carson
Crashing.
child.
That whole opening
Oh,
monologue
yeah,
was from the
hell
guy
yeah.
from Crashing.
Pete
yeah.
Holmes.
shit.
Yeah,
So
Pete
f***ing funny.
Yeah, man.
He's great,
He
and
is.
he's so
That show took
underrated
him-
as a
yeah.
comic. Now, probably not so much,
yeah,
but
yeah,
leading
yeah.
up to now,
No, he grew on me. I dig him now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what to think of that guy. I'm like, who the is this
he's
guy?
he's weird
But
to
then
look
once
at.
you get him,
Yes.
he's hilarious.
Yes,
Yes,
correct.
Like,
yeah.
and he's
And you realize it's not like he was so good of a character. You feel like that is actually him in real life. It's
Yes.
not, but it's what he actually did for his stand-up. So I went back in tapes going back to like 2012 or something like that when he was doing stand-up, and it was like he would portray
Yeah.
that character on stage and do a stand-up, and it was awkward but funny.
Huh.
So they just took that and made it into a character for the
That's
show.
amazing. I just love that Artie was on the show with him.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I just
Artie
can't,
is
like
fantastic.
that like touches my heart.
He
like,
is in. He's gonna die soon. He's
I know
just
he is,
so.
and that's why. But to
he's
see him
gonna
on the
die
screen
soon.
still, I'm like, wow, he's still fucking alive.
Yeah, he's
Good
still
for Artie,
alive.
man.
I put him in the death
Fuck
pool
yeah.
every single year.
I have to tell you, to this day, like when I think of some like the funniest on-air radio I've ever heard is like when he's telling Stern about the Coke story when he's got the pig mask on and he had to go out when he was doing a show in California and he was just sweating everywhere and I can't like I still,
It made you feel
like it hurt. I laughed so
You're
hard. Like, I hurt
oh
for,
my
for
God,
like a day. I laughed
but
so
you kept
hard.
listening
I couldn't
because you just
stop.
couldn't stop listening.
Couldn't stop.
That was the whole
Absolute
point of it.
Magic, man. Magic.
A lot of things have come through. I used to work here at Governor's for 4 years. That's how I even got
Nice.
this thing. So I've seen a lot of people come and go. I can honestly rip off anybody's set if I need to. If I'm in a pinch, I could just revert to somebody else's set if I have to, just to get through the 5 minutes.
You'll be fine.
I'll be all right. I
It's
got
only
a couple
5
things.
minutes. Come
Yeah,
on.
I mean,
You'll
I'm
be done
a
with
teacher.
your shit in 30 seconds.
I teach 40 minutes of class, like 3 times a day, and I can make people laugh. I sit up in front of parents. I make them laugh.
So
It'll
you're
be
used
all
to
right.
this-
I'll be
you're
all
used
right.
to the
You got
audience.
this.
You're
Yeah,
good.
I can curse now. I can't curse in front of my kids or the parents of the
Sure you
kids.
can.
But no, I guess
Well, you could.
kids.
You have tenure?
You little bastard.
Yeah,
I told
I
you
do.
to
Then
shut
sure you
up.
can.
Nah, I can't. I almost wanted to today. I was on the phone with a parent today, and I wanted to say, your kid doesn't do a thing. And I said, your kid hasn't done anything. Just like that. And she knew, like, in the middle, I wanted to put the word but I didn't. I held back.
Is she listening?
No, none of those kids know I do this. A lot of my alumni know I do this, but none of the actual kids in class know
Is
I
it
do
part of a thing? Like when they graduate, you tell them, like, by the way.
Yeah, well, there's the kid that's working in Limo Talk on the board
Yeah.
is a graduate of mine.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm cool.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if you knew, but like I do cool stuff, so I'm not
I just want to
always.
put that
not
out
always
there.
A couple of his former students did the
Yeah.
did the promos for
This
us.
isn't
Oh,
just
really?
everything
Yeah,
about
that's
me.
And they're
Do you-
fucking great.
You teach audio
I teach
visual?
audio production.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I teach recording and
Okay.
engineering.
Oh, wow.
So I got
wow.
lucky in that regard, and so a lot of alumni that come back,
That's
they're at Five
awesome.
Towns or at Full Sail. They do big stuff in other places. So the couple of the promos that you'll hear throughout the night. This one that you heard before, well, that's
Radio. This is the Wort
That's
on Govs Radio.
one of my kids, Karen, and the producer of it was her friend Kevin, who's at Five Towns, and he's graduating this year. So yeah, a lot of those guys know I do it, and as they turn 21, I invite them into my life a little bit because most of my life revolves around beer, and I really can't. I don't have any time for you if you can't drink with me.
Yeah.
And being a responsible adult, I got to make sure they're 21 before they're allowed to hang out.
Did I just loot on you? I'm sorry.
Oh, give me the
I
loot.
broke
Give me
the
the
radio
loot.
room rules.
Give me the loot.
So we got some more beer here.
Oh,
we
there's
got
lots
plenty
more.
more.
Do you
beer,
want to take a quick break and then we'll get to
Sure.
more beer because we still got another segment to fill and more things to
Beer,
do.
beer, 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 beer.
Well, hold on. How many beers per segment are you doing?
Whatever.
Why don't you
We
do
just
three this segment, three next segment?
Oh, we got
only
six?
brought, we only brought 4.
All right, so
Two
two,
cans of
yeah,
each style.
2 and 2 are good.
2 and 2.
Well, we can go back to the other
mean-
ones.
No,
There's
they're
a lot of
good.
cans
We're not going to be done there.
There's
I'm
4
just saying.
cans left
Oh,
and
I
5
know.
cans
That's
left.
for like the end of segment, the
All
last
right.
Yeah,
segment.
no, it's all good.
When we pound beers and we shotgun stuff.
Ooh,
Sweet.
I don't know about
Hey.
shotgun.
I'm down.
The Berliner Weiss I can handle.
Like
I don't
it's
know about
Monday.
the stout. We're going to
Nah,
have
Home
shotgun
at
stout.
3 in the morning. Yeah, sorry.
That's what I was pounding on the way here.
The stouts?
This guy too.
Nice.
No.
All right, so we'll go to a break. We'll
They
come
took
back.
an Uber, obviously.
Again, this is the Wort with Mike and Pete. GubsRadio.com. The phone number 516-465-3990. 513-0515. We are not streaming on YouTube any longer. We are only on GubsRadio.com as of right now. Check us out. Again, we're here with the Brewers Collective, Sarah and Mike, and we will be back after these messages.
This is Govs Radio, and you're getting drunk with Mike and Pete on the Wort.